Check this out. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble. I can't do anymore. But this is one of the most beautiful pieces of romantic rock that I've heard yet. It's simple. It's got the piano. It's got the bass there. You can hear the drums. And there's going to be a flute. It's Chicago, and it's called Color My World. And it's number 56 on the Billboard End of the Year Top 100 Hits for 1971. So it's right there in the middle, number 56. Well, I know that if you hear this song and you have a romantic streak, which most of us do, in you, you're going to really love this song. I really loved this song the first time I heard it. I thought it was so beautiful. The only problem is that it's very short. You want it to last forever. You want him to say more, you know, but this is what we get. This is a simple romantic ballad. And it's like the sweetest and most romantic ballad in rock and roll history. So we're talking about 1967. This guy named James Pankow joined this band. He was a trombonist. And if you don't know what the trombone is, it's like the trumpet, but it's got that little lever at the bottom that you can push in and out. It doesn't have the keys like the buttons on top like trumpets do, but it has this sliding thing. I don't know what it's called, and that's what controls the notes. It's a very cool wind instrument. So he was a trombonist at that time, and he was a music student at St. Paul's University in St. Paul, Minnesota. So I thought that was kind of cool. Apparently, many of the members of this band were classically trained musicians. So it was during this time in 1967 that the band had started to consider incorporating the wind instruments in the band. Now, this was something that required a lot of consideration because rock and roll did not have a wind section, you know? It just didn't. Maybe a flute once in a while and a harmonica for sure, but not a wind section, right? So that was very unique. Now, these guys were serious musicians, right? Like I said earlier, with classical music background. So they understood composition, classical composition. They had studied Bach and Mozart and Beethoven, all these old classical guys, right? Now, originally the band was called The Big Thing. The Big Thing. I love it. It was called The Big Thing. So I don't know what it means. I didn't go into it, whatever. So they were a rock group with a horn section in the middle of the music. And for rock and rollers, that was like really weird. Group member and the Whistler guitarist of the band, Terry Kath, referred to the horn section as the soul of the band. Now, a Whistler guitar is like it can be a 12-string guitar. So the key I did some research on this. All of this is coming from Google and, you know. So the key feature of the Whistler guitar sound is that it has 12 strings used to create a rich ringing sound. I have tried. I play the guitar. Actually, I don't play it at all anymore, but I used to be pretty good at it because I used to practice it every day for hours. And eventually I did get the opportunity to try the 12th string, but personally, I prefer the acoustic 6-string nylon string guitar. I'm not really into the steel strings. They're really hard on my fingers, and my hands are pretty small, so applying the pressure makes it harder for me. So anyway, so tuning, let's see, the guitar, this Whistler guitar is tuned down a whole step, D, G, C, F, A, D, and uses a capo, which is like a little strappy thing that you put on the neck of the guitar in one of the what are they called? In one of the one of the areas, one of the notes section of the guitar, one of the frets, and apparently here it's put on the 5th fret. And when you put it on a fret, it all the strings, all the tune strings of that guitar will go up a level. So like if you, like for me, that I have a high voice and I'm a woman, and women tend to have higher voices, it helped to use a capo. And I usually put it on the 2nd or 3rd fret, which was, I think, the C, either the G or the C. Yeah, and then you have to make sure your guitar is tuned. So anyway, the band originally started with 6 members, okay, which is really, considering the wind section, you think there'd be more, and eventually they did have, they've had a lot of musicians come and go. So they were an unusual rock band because they had a horn section, right? They had a wind section. So they felt that their horn section was another voice in the arrangement of the song. I really love that. That's very beautiful. And in this particular song, what we have is a flute. And many songs that we've reviewed in this channel, where they have a flute, usually the flute also becomes like can become like a main character, or at the level of presentation with the voice of the singer, because they also their melody puts a real important part into the arrangement of the song. So Peter Kath joined the band with his high vocals and his bass playing. So that's another member that came in with good vocals, and he joined the band in December of 1967. So like it looks like 1967 was like an important year for this band, and they're still playing, by the way. They were 7 at that point when Peter Cetera joined. Peter Cetera. And they had a special sound unique for the times, very unique for the times and unique for rock and roll. Okay, now their producer, his name was Jimmy Garso. Okay, so he was a producer and he became their manager. And the first thing he did was to change their name from the big, what did I say their name of their band was? The Big Thing? Where is that? Yeah, The Big Thing. As a good manager with a little bit of sense, right? And he said, no. You're not going to be called The Big Thing anymore. You are going to be the Chicago Transit. And at the beginning, it was the Chicago Transit Authority, and then it was just the Chicago Transit. Now, with his own money, okay, this is their manager, right? Jimmy Garso. With his own money, he took the guys, the whole band, to Los Angeles in 1968, where they were booked to a recording studio and record some music. So no doubt that Jimmy Garso saw something in them that he felt it had a lot of potential, right? So this song, Color My World, which is number 56 on the chart, was written by Jimmy Pankow, the trombonist, who joined the band in 1967, and he was going to St. Paul's University, and he was in the music department. He wrote this song, and this song is part of it's on album 3, I think, Chicago 3. Like, it's a whole side of the one of the albums, because I think it's a double album release, and it's kind of like an opera, and this song is part of it, and this song is amazing. Now, Jimmy was really proud of his opera, the composition of everything that he did with all the music that is around this song, you know, but people just were like taken away, blown away out into the universe of the conscious love energy when they heard Color My World. I mean, we were all just, whoa, blown away by it, you know, because it's just so beautiful. And so, you know, he wasn't expecting that that would happen, you know. It's funny when you're creating something, you never know how it's gonna be taken by people who listen to you, you know. Or like when you make a movie, you never know if it's gonna be a big hit or not. And sometimes you might be a bit surprised. Oh, that? Everybody likes that one? So anyway, I think that's kind of what happened to Jimmy Pankow with this song. Now, the guy singing this song, his name is Terry Kath. And the flute that you're going to be hearing is played by another man in the band called Walter Parazaider, with Z-A-I-D-E-R, Parazaider, Walter. I am probably destroying these names for sure, because, you know. So when I heard this song for the first time, okay, I was making a video. I had just made a video of a trip that we took when I was living down in Guatemala with my brother and his wife and their little daughter and their son. They had just had a little girl, and she must have been about 9 months old or something like that. And so I took a lot of photos of this trip. And then when I got home, I decided I was going to make a video with the photos of the trip and incorporate some music to this, this project. And since I was in Guatemala, there weren't a lot of serious restrictions of putting somebody's music on your video. So I found this song, and I was like, oh my God, I remember hearing this song way back, in the late 60s, early 70s. I just had forgotten about it, but it kind of like hearing it that time, and this was like in 2009, I think, or something around there, that we took this trip to the beach in Guatemala, and I took these pictures. And when I was editing that project, and I found this song and I heard it, I was so enthralled by it, just as I had been when I first heard it many, many years before that, you know, when I was younger, way younger. and this time it really just touched my soul deeply. And I put it into the video. And in Guatemala, you could watch the video with that song in it. You know, I had put that song, and I had put one of the songs by the Mamas and the Papas. But as soon as I came to the States, and you know, that video was on one of my YouTube channels, you know, they just took the music away. And then I just think it's so unfortunate, because I mean, if we could, I mean, how much publicity would musicians get, especially now that the young people don't know who these people are, you know? If they would just allow their music to be shared, people would get to know them again, you know? But I don't know, it's such a money world, you know? It's just so unfortunate. So it's really too bad that we're not allowed to share this music. I just think it's a shame. So anyway, that is the story for me of this song, aside from how these people met and how this song came into being. Now, he wrote this song because he wanted to impress his fiance, okay? And they were both students at St. Paul's University in St. Paul, Minnesota. So now the lyrics are going to be really short and sweet. And when you hear this song, and then as soon as it begins, as soon as it ends, it's just like, it begins and then it ends immediately afterwards. And it's like, it so leaves you hanging for more. So it goes, as time goes on, I realize just what you mean to me. And now that you're near, promise your love that I've waited to share. Promise your love that I've waited to share. And dreams of our moments together. Color my world with hope of loving you. And that is it. It's like, let me read it again. I'm going to read it slower because they sing it really slow. So it goes, as time goes on, I realize just what you mean to me. And now that you're near, promise your love that I've waited to share, and dreams of our moments together. Color my world with hope of loving you. And that is it. This amazing love story. That is what love is about, right? You meet somebody and you feel so strongly attracted to them that you fall in love. And then young love is just like as beautiful as springtime. The world under the eyes of being in love is a different world. And eventually we all come back to reality, and it really sucks. But those first moments of falling in love, being in love, I know a lot of people say they've never fallen in love before. What in the world's going on? Okay, sorry about that. I got interrupted by a very important phone call, which it was wonderful because it was a call from my brother, and him and I, we have like these intense philosophical conversations, and he's a great listener, and I really appreciate that. And plus, you know, I also really appreciate a lot of the things he has to say and express about all these issues that we're all living through as humans in these modern times. So anyway, that's what happened. But we were done. So I just want to do a quick end of the video. Just simple notes. It's just da 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 dum bum ba dum bum, and a simple flute. Do 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 do. It's a wonderful song. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for visiting my channel. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you liked it. If you do like it, please, please, please subscribe or do a like, so at least, you know, the YouTube rhythm thing gets me going. All right. Peace, love, understanding. Take good care. Bye.